Welcome, this is Haunted Fear Files, where nightmares come to life. Like and subscribe.
Hey there, folks. I gotta share something that's been haunting me ever since it happened. I live in one of those government housing complexes. You know, the kind that's not exactly the friendliest place in the world. My name's Sandra, and I have a little boy named Malik. And let me tell you, what we went through, it's the stuff nightmares are made of. It all started on a gloomy Tuesday afternoon. School had just let out, and I was walking with Malik back home. Our apartment was on the other side of town, and it was always a long walk. But that day, something felt off. Call it a gut feeling, call it mother's intuition, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching us. As we made our way through the neighborhood, I kept glancing over my shoulder, searching for any sign of danger. But it was like our stalker was an expert in blending into the shadows. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, yet I couldn't shake the feeling of being observed. The days turned into weeks, and still, that sense of unease lingered. I started noticing subtle signs that someone had been near our apartment. The doormat was shifted slightly, the blinds were ajar when I was sure I had closed them. It was as if our stalker was taunting us, playing mind games. Malik, being just a little boy, hadn't picked up on the tension. He'd often babble about the cool things he saw during the day, unaware of the shadow looming over us. It was my responsibility to protect him, but how could I when I couldn't even see our adversary? One night, as I tucked Malik into bed, he asked me if he could sleep with the lights on. It broke my heart to see the fear in his eyes, but it also solidified my belief that our stalker was real, not just some figment of my imagination. I didn't want my son to grow up in fear, but I had to face the reality of the situation. Desperate for answers, I contacted the local authorities. I explained the situation, how we were being followed, how our lives were being invaded. But they brushed it off, saying I was probably just paranoid, that government housing was a breeding ground for rumors and false alarms. They offered no help, no reassurance. With no one to turn to, I took matters into my own hands. I started staying up late, watching from the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of our stalker. And one night, as the clock struck midnight, I saw it. A shadowy figure lurking in the distance, watching our apartment. My blood ran cold. I knew then that we were dealing with someone dangerous. But what could I do? The police didn't believe me, and I couldn't just uproot our lives and disappear. I had to protect my son, no matter the cost. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and our stalker never relented. He'd follow us everywhere, always keeping a safe distance, but close enough to remind us of his presence. Malik grew more and more terrified, and I lived in constant fear. It was an ordinary day, just like any other. The sun was shining, and I walked with anticipation to the school to fetch Malik. The closer I got, though, the more my unease grew. I tried to brush it off, convincing myself that I was just being paranoid again. But sometimes you can't ignore that gut feeling. As I entered the school premises, I scanned the playground for my son, a mixture of relief and concern washing over me when I didn't spot him immediately. I approached his teacher, Miss Johnson, who had a puzzled expression on her face. She informed me that Malik had already left with someone she assumed was a family member. My heart stopped. Panic surged through every inch of my body. I frantically searched for any sign of Malik, calling out his name. The school staff immediately sprang into action, contacting the police and reviewing security camera footage. My mind raced with 1,000 terrible possibilities. When the police arrived, we huddled in the school office, watching the security footage together. Time slowed down as we scrutinized the screen, our eyes fixated on every person who left with a child. And there it was, a moment frozen in time that shattered my world. The footage revealed Malik walking out of the school with a stranger, a person I had never seen before. The fear in my chest tightened its grip, squeezing out every ounce of hope. Who was this person? Why did they take my innocent boy? Questions swirled in my mind, but answers remained elusive. The police mobilized a search party, scouring every corner of the city, every lead, every possible clue. I joined them, my heart heavy with dread. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of Malik. Every night I cried myself to sleep, begging for his safe return. Today, I stand before you, a broken mother, still searching for her lost child. Malik's disappearance remains a mystery, an open wound that refuses to heal. I implore you, dear friends, if you have any information, any shred of hope, please come forward. Help me find my beloved son and bring him back to the loving arms that ache for his return. And so, the search continues, fueled by a mother's unwavering love. May no child, no family, ever have to endure the heartache that has befallen us. Pray for Malik's safe return, and may we find solace in...
Did you enjoy this? Share this video with a friend to enjoy the thrill.